Hey guys, welcome back to Defeating Hair Loss. My name is Steve, and I've got Bobby D with me tonight.
Yes, sir. Back again.
Back, Bobby. Thank you for your time. Oh, good hair day.
Always a good hair day.
We try to have as many good hair days a month as possible, right? So
True that.
we're kind of on a streak since the new year.
Yes, sir.
I'm liking my hair as well, and I'm not too high on myself. So very cool. So welcome back, Bobby. So here's tonight's topic is kind of like 5 reasons why you should get a hair transplant. There's a lot of YouTube platforms out there. I remember with David DiMuzio, him and I put together 10 reasons why you shouldn't get a hair transplant. And there's a couple other guys out there too, some great YouTube platforms that talk about, reasons why you should not, it makes sense because you want to, look out for the patient and kind of warn them. So I figured we'd do a little bit different and talk about why we should get a hair transplant. So I put together 5 reasons why, the most important reasons why, in my opinion. I could do 10, I could do 15, trust me. But let's talk about 5. So number 1 is just hair loss bothers you. So I love having you here. Obviously, you're an example of an image where, a young guy that just started losing his hair, and you know the story. We say it every time. We get you on the medication, we stop the ongoing loss, and we repair the hairline. We fix the hairline, we put up a great hairline. So why don't you tell your story? Did it bother you?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it bothered me a lot. I noticed, from a girlfriend at the time that my hair was receding in the front, and then from that point forward, I would just grow my hair out longer just to cover the receding part, and it did bother me a lot.
So right away, because I remember when we spoke, and this is now going back, 3 years, 4 years. So you had talked to me originally and been like, man, I just, because, I try to talk a lot of guys out of hair transplants, right? And we don't push them into hair transplants. So that's probably what I did with you as well. But it really bothered you.
Very.
Okay, so let's go to number 2. Number 2 might sound a lot like number 1, but it's not. It's confidence. So let me give you my take on the number 1, number 2 personally, and then we'll see what you think. My hairstyle, or the hairstyles in my day when I was a teenager, started losing my hair in my teens. Great, lucky me, I got the lucky gene. Couldn't style my hair like everybody else, like what you were just saying, and that bothered me. But the self-confidence, once I started realizing, I had 2 uncles. They were both on one side of the family, and they were like shiny cue balders for as long as I can remember. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going down that path. And that's where the confidence just went straight down. I started hitting the gym and try to overcompensate for it, wearing hats. And we'll talk more about the whole fitness thing, which is my other thing, in some other videos coming up. But Bobby, so tell me about what it did for your you're a tall, good-looking, young. Would you graduate from Baylor? Is that where you're? Oh my God! So you had it all going on, and then you started losing your hair.
Yeah, it just happened so fast too, and then I had to try to cover it up by growing the hair out longer, and then just got worse and worse. And then I was just looking in the mirror at the gym, and I just didn't feel like myself. And that's when I gave you a call, and the rest is history. So.
Well. Again, great hair day. Cool. So it does. And I know those of you watching out there, a lot of this is all about the psychology of hair loss, and we talk about it all the time. I've just started hitting the tip of the iceberg with this. I'm going to have a lot more videos about the psychology in an image-based society on how hair loss can just wipe away all that confidence. I don't care if you're 6'4", you played middle linebacker for Baylor, and you graduated magna cum laude. You start losing your hair. If you're the kind of guy like Bobby and myself, not too easy, not too fun. Number 3, you've been using Finesse Drive for 6 months or more. So now we're starting to get a little bit technical here, all right? It's not so much as why you should get a hair transplant. It's about, are you ready for a hair transplant? And if you are, from the number 1 and number 2, you better be on that Finesse Drive for at least 6 months. I like to see patients on it for a year, but you can schedule surgery after being on it for 6 months. So we want to, see if you're responding well to it. And that's number 4. So the 3rd criteria, you need to be on the Finesse Drive for at least 6 months. And then your hair surgeon will be confident that he's not going to do any disservice to you by working on your hairline and the rest of your hair goes bald. Number 4 is, are you responding to it? And what does that mean? Sometimes responding may just be that you're not losing any more hair. And that's about a 98% assuredness that you're not going to lose more hair. So again, ethical doctors that are really good at this, specialists like you had, Bobby, that know what they're doing, they're not going to put you in harm's way. And then the final one, number 5, and this is where you and I spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, I'm trying to talk you out of the second procedure.
Yeah.
Realistic expectations are really, really important. Now, this one will be on any of my lists I make on why you should get a hair transplant. And the reason for that is because this is where it all starts to come together with these videos. Hey, I got a friend who went to the gym. He did one procedure. He looks like he's got Elvis Presley's hair. I went to a doctor who told me to go see. My hair's not as thick as his. I mean, listen, you know, I've been doing this a really long time, okay? We have to have realistic expectations. And then we go back to the basics, right? Always plan on 2 procedures. Do not come off that medication. And about another 6 months or so, I'm gonna be putting together the Steve Michaels, the Steve Cook expectations chart, which will be able to plug in what you have. In other words, you have thin, fine hair, you have coarse hair, you have thick, strong Spanish or Middle Eastern hair. Whatever you have and how much hair loss do you have, are you using the medication? You plug into the metrics, all these different factors, these components, and I'm gonna tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 on where you can end up. You know, like when you were done with your first procedure, the fact that you were on the medication, you had a great surgeon do your hairline looks amazing, built out your temporal peaks, you're probably at a 7.5, starting at a 5 because you were kind of depressed. Then you did the second surgery and you're very much closer to a 10.
Yes.
Right? So if you were a complete bald guy, like on top, there's no way that I'm ever going to tell you you can get to a 10. Now you're going to argue with me out there and show me examples of that. Okay, but we have to keep realistic expectations. The way the numbers work are most guys that are bald are not going to look like they have completely full heads of hair. They could have Bobby's hairline, but you're going to see some thinning in the crown. But I'm kind of just nitpicking here. Anyway, so 5 reasons why you should consider getting a hair transplant, and I hope this video helps you do that. Don't forget to like and subscribe.